Well, that was a busier than expected day at the chocolate shop. I don't know what I was thinking, because Easter is our second busiest holiday after Christmas, so I don't know. Anyway, I got home probably about 8 o'clock, and I was able to start getting in and roughing in probably about the first half of the music for this short film. And I'll pick it up tomorrow morning and do a part 2 and rough in the second half, and then figure out how to tweak it and pull it all together and all the good stuff. So let's go in there. Basically what I did in the previous video, once I brought everything into Logic, I had basically copied and pasted a CSV export out of Premiere into my Logic notepad here. And this is helpful because I can still see all of the actual in and out points from the Premiere project and a little bit more of the description. But then I basically just kind of duplicate some of these marker names here. And I'll kind of show you how I manually popped in these markers here. I'll just do one towards the end as an example here that I can just remove. So I'll just pop this right over here. So essentially, let's say for instance, you know, we had another time code section here at, oh, I don't know, why don't we say four minutes. So this one was started at 3:39, so let's do another one at 4 minutes. So basically what I ended up doing was simply just snapping to the 4-minute area, and then you just add another marker, and it'll translate it automatically to your bars and beats there. And then I just double click on that and call that new marker, and then that one will show up right alongside the new ones. And then I made sure that when you can catch the playhead if you want. So like for instance, if you're scrolling, it'll kind of do a little snap for you. But this is kind of nice because even when you're scrubbing in the timeline here, you'll also see the visual indicator on your marker list there as to kind of where you're at within the project. So let's just go back to the start here. I'll kind of show you where I'm at so far. I've just, like I said, I've just kind of roughed in about half of it so far. I still have all of this stuff to build, and then all of this stuff to tweak and add to and manipulate and massage and all that good stuff. But I like to kind of throw the kitchen sink at these things, and then I scale back a little bit. Just, I don't know, I think it's just in my nature to do it that way. But then that, you know, that way it gives me options that I can sift and sort through and stuff. So so basically, let me go ahead and just kind of zoom in a little bit more here. Actually, I probably zoomed in way too much. Let me back up a little bit. So we've kind of, you know, moved through. I'm not sure exactly if I'm going to do anything specific for the title cards. I might do, you know, maybe some subtle sound design that will lead into the first scene of the film. So yeah, so we kind of, you know, ramp up a little bit, drop off, and then we start to ramp up again as the action scene develops. It seemed to make sense based on what was happening here, because it's kind of a progression in the visuals themselves as he kind of moves through this scene. So it's not like crazy action, that all starts, boom, right here. It, basically kind of does another build essentially. So it seemed to make sense to kind of approach it that way. And then we kind of moved out of, so we got the bunch of the action. And then we're starting to ramp down now. And then we kind of move into a little bit more of a dreamy thing here that still has similar elements of some of the previous cue pieces, just to kind of glue them all together essentially. So then boom, right here is where more action kicks in. So I've got to figure out a good way to kind of transition out of that and do something that's similar in nature to some of the other action stuff here, but it's going to be more ramped up and intense in this section, because this is the final boss essentially that we're encountering in this area. So and then I'm going to ramp it down, figure out the resolve, and figure out what I want to do with all of the title pieces. And then, so once I get it all roughed in, then I'll start, taking out elements and bringing new elements back in, that kind of stuff. So essentially, like for instance, let me just bring up, I'll kind of give you an example of some of the instrumentation that I pull in here. For the most part, I'm using Contact 5 instruments. So I've got a whole array of options in here. I got a whole array of options in here. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and just pick up the rest tomorrow, and we'll kind of see how this progresses from here. All right, with that, subscribe if you like if you like, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for part 2.